Our lives are the sum of our choices.
What's up, everybody? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan680.
And this is Lex, guys, back at it again with a review.
Let's get right to it. Lex, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about none other than Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Yes, there is a Part 2 to this, which I did not expect that at all. But when we first saw it, we're like, oh snap, Part 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Ethan Hunt and his IMF team must track down a dangerous weapon before it falls into the wrong hands. Let's get right to it, ladies and gentlemen. Directed by none other than the last director himself, Christopher McQuarrie, in here, teaming up with Tom Cruise, teaming up with a huge cast in here. Well, we cannot deny this cast. We really can't. Needless to say, but before we do this, guys, be sure to like, share, subscribe to us, hit that subscribe notification, get notified for our movie reviews in this case, or trailer reactions. We got a lot of film reviews coming out from you this week, guys. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. And with that out of the way, let's get right to it. Lex, I know we did an out of theater reaction. If you have not already, check out our video, guys. It's literally a little over 2 minutes long. Check out our out of theater reaction where we just literally got done watching it in IMAX, in a glorious IMAX screen, huge, massive screen. Not good seats at the River Center. I would say that they were very uncomfortable. Do you upgrade them? Yeah, very little leg room. And that's speaking, I mean, Lex is taller than me, and I had trouble moving around in them. So yeah, there you go. But Lex, what is your initial review out of this? Dissect this whole movie and everything, because you've watched more of the Mission Impossible movies than I have. And all I gotta say is this is literally, don't hate me, guys, the same story, but like he just keeps repeating himself. Don't trust the government. Don't trust anybody. Someone's going to betray you. The government's going to betray you. Someone's betraying you, man. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, what'd you think of this, Lex?
Yeah, no, I mean, the first impression that I got out of the theater was this movie went big. And we've really seen that a lot with the Part 1 movies, right? I think there's both successful and unsuccessful versions of what that looks like, right? Like we had Spider-Verse across the, well, I keep confusing them because there's across and then there's beyond that's coming up, but yeah. Across the Spider-Verse, they didn't title it a Part 1, but they did tell us like they're breaking it up, right? It's going to be that, and then there's going to be Beyond the Spider-Verse. So technically, you know, if they kept the same name, it would be a Part 1, Part 2, especially with a cliffhanger at the end of that. That is what I consider a successful attempt, where you go big, you deliver. Then you have not so successful attempts, in my opinion, like the Fast and Furious, the recent installment that is considered a Part 1 as well. It was entertaining. The pacing felt off, and the movie at that point, like, they get really long, and it's okay if it's long, but when you feel it, I think it's a problem. That said, I think this kind of lands somewhere in between. I definitely felt the pacing. However, I found it entertaining, thrilling. There was multiple sequences here that I would say like they would have been good being like the top like sequence, like the climax, but they had multiple of that, and they did give a little bit of breathing room in between each of them for the audience to have. But I couldn't help but feel like are they just doing this because they want to fill the 2 hour and 43 minutes? Like on the downtime when they do let me breathe, I do feel a little bit bored because the dialogue and the story wasn't as engaging at certain moments. But I gotta say, the characters in here, both new and old faces, I think they brought their A game. It was just a little bit of the screenplay that I had problems with throughout the movie.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with story arc, right? A lot of it has to do with story character development here. And granted, this movie is long. It's a long film, but I mean, call me crazy, right? Call me crazy here. This movie's come out to be 2 hours and 43 minutes. It sucks that's for me to say this. For me, I mean, granted, I could be totally wrong. Whatever. The point is, my point of view, guys, is that this movie did not have any real character development, I would say, when it comes down to, like, I felt like it was just okay. Well, that's pretty, I guess we'll try it as it was almost the same. It was this. I'm not saying the same premise. This was definitely different. We saw that from the trailer. It was going to be AI. It's just updated but same threats. Now the villain, I hate to say this about any movie, and Grant, I just hate saying this to begin with, because we never go in watching movies like this, because I didn't know what to expect. I just knew it was gonna be high stakes here for Tom Cruise, especially with the age he's doing it. The stunts are magnificent.
Yeah,
I give him so much credit. Tom Cruise, oh my God, dude, brother, you are just fantastic. The stunts are epic. He goes above and beyond on that caliber. But when it comes to story arc and everything, I just felt like the villain felt very flat.
Yeah, and I hate cartoony.
That. Yeah, and I hate that. I hate that on the train scene. I know we talked about out of theater reaction. The train scene that we got out of here, and I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys. There's no spoilers. It's in the trailer. The train scene just seems way too much predictable level on Fast and Furious. Like, oh, that's too convenient. That's not possible. Like that Fast and I hate to say it, I'm gonna get criticized a lot, because I got criticized a lot on the out of theater reaction about the Fast and Furious. I was like, what I'm comparing, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that you're superhuman.
Too many conveniences.
Okay, if someone told me that Tom Cruise had the super secret serum as Captain America, I would totally believe the story. 110%. I would. 110%. I would totally believe that. But yeah, we're not in that world.
Yeah, and I don't think it reaches like levels of ridiculousness that we've seen in the Fast and Furious franchise.
No,
Fast and Furious franchise,
it's just similar,
still entertaining, but it's similar in terms of, like Ryan said, the conveniences. Yeah. There was actually a couple moments in the movie where it really took me out, because I was like, that is like too convenient. Like, and I don't want to spoil it, but there's moments where like it takes you out of the movie. It's just like anything else, right? Like I've recently talked about it. Like bad CGI doesn't usually take me out of the movie. It took me out of the movie when it comes to Flash, and so it's there's a line for each individual, and the convenience factor here crossed a couple of times where it got me out of the experience of watching a movie, and I was like, oh yeah, well, it's a movie, and I think when you are carried through story and spectacle and you're caring about the characters and things like that, it's harder for you to be pulled out like that.
Yes.
But like you said, it's like, the stakes are high. There are some decisions that characters kind of have to make, but it's not so much the fact that they have to make a decision. It's who they become in the process of making those decisions. That's the character development, like changing the course, or maybe even walking you through the course of this character's mind and how they think and why they do what they do.
Yeah.
I think that's the most interesting components, but they're lacking here. It's like they seem like to be putting our hero, which is Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt, through wanting to make certain decisions, but he's just gonna do what's right because he's a good person and stuff like that. Like, they don't really go beyond the surface level there. And that's what I think I had a problem with. Stunts, like you said, they're top level. But when, and trust me, guys, I know we've made a couple comparisons here. I don't usually like making comparisons, but to give you guys context, like I thought the level of stunts and story, I like the presentation that we got better off of the recent John Wick movie, where also the stunts are high caliber, stakes are high.
The story is high.
The story is developed. Worked there for me. The characters were a little more dimensional, and I actually particularly like the villain that they introduced there versus what we introduced here, because here they keep the villain's intentions behind curtains on purpose, but they did it for almost the entirety of the movie, where you're like, well, what's his deal? Like, what makes him tick? What makes him tick? And not giving the audience that information, I think, resulted in a flat villain, like you said.
I felt like that also, and after really thinking and critically thinking about this movie, that I felt that making it a part one kind of killed it a little bit. Kind of killed off like the whole morale of just like, oh, the high stakes. Because I mean, it was definitely a high stakes movie for Tom Cruise, for Ethan Hunt. It was, but on certain levels, the alley scene is fantastic. By the way, the alley scene with that with Paris, and that was really good. I enjoyed her. I enjoyed both their characters in there. That was really good. There's a lot of sequences, especially with Simon Pegg in there too as well. I enjoy Simon Pegg.
That was one of my favorite sequences. Tension was high.
It's hard to be okay. When I first saw the Mission Impossible, I was all like, Call me crazy, guys. Call me crazy. It's so hard to believe that Simon Pegg is not the code guy or not the tech guy. I'm just like versus Ving Rhames. I'm just like, what? How it should be reversed? I don't know. Call me crazy. It's so hard to believe that the statue and everything. It was just weird for me. I guess whatever. Call me crazy, but a lot of these elements here that I saw that really carried the movie for me that just felt short and they felt not climactic in the very end of this movie here. And it sucks because the third act, granted, there was a lot of action sequences. There was a lot. But when it comes down to like, I don't want to say failing at story, but they fell short on story because there was story progressing with the action. But needless to say, I hate it when there's just nonstop, endless action and no story. And that wasn't the case with this one. I would just say the story felt short. It didn't complete it. I felt like putting it into part one kind of destroyed itself in this because this movie, all we know is that this movie could have been actually a one solid film, and they were like, let's switch to two parts, and it changed.
I think that's what we got with like Fallout, was it Fallout or Fall Off? Hold on, Fallout. No, it was Fallout. The one with Henry Cavill. I love that one. That one for me, it was concealed. There was a good story. They focused a little bit on developing the characters, new faces. In that case, Henry Cavill, I think he did really great, and the action was still there. I think that formula worked then, and here, like you said, making it a part one. Yes, once again, there's executions where you can make a part one interesting, still story driven, things like that. But here, going for spectacle, going for the high stakes, going for the what's going to happen next, it just doesn't always work. And I think this is where one of those examples. But like I said, it didn't go on to like the Fast and the Furious example. I think somewhere in between, it was still enjoyable. Still commend them for how it was directed and the stunts and the sequences and the action. And once again, the new faces, they did a great job at actually making me feel like, I'm glad they're added to the franchise. I hope to see more of some of them. Hayley Atwell did really good.
Oh yeah, man! I was very surprised.
She's known as a character named Grace, and her character, I think, was one of the better parts of this movie, and she brought this like charisma to her character too that I really enjoyed. She didn't feel flat, and with her, they also didn't give us a lot of stuff about her background, but they did tell you about who she is, her aspirations, things like that. So I hope to see more of her.
Intentions,
and
Cap Carter.
We'll see what part two. I don't think there's a point of no return here. Like I definitely think they could stick the landing on the second part. I just feel like when reviewing this part one, it's not the movie that I
expected.
I wanted to see. I would have liked it for it to still shine on its own.
Okay. No, I see, and that's the thing too. That's the thing when it comes down to franchises, Marvel movies have that trouble too. It's like they're too focused. Like instead of making this one movie, and DC has the same problem. Instead of making this one movie, we have to think about what's the next movie, what's the next one. Can we connect it? We got to connect it to this. We got to have the end credits scene. We got to connect. And I feel like that they're focused too much on the unnecessary, because if it's not a great movie, it's not a good movie, people are not going to go see it. And I'm not saying this is not a good movie. This is a really good film, guys. Any Mission Impossible fan that's huge Tom Cruise fan or anything like any of that sorts, you are going to enjoy this movie. Now, is Top Gun Maverick, is that better than this movie? Hell yeah, it is. It's a way better film. The stakes were higher. The story was well driven. But yeah, that's just my take there. And it's funny too because the same Christopher McQuarrie actually did screenplay of Top Gun. So knowing that, hey, if you're good at working together with certain actors, directors, and all that stuff, I love that because it brings us back together. Edge of Tomorrow, Christopher McQuarrie actually screenplayed that as well. So it's like Edge of Tomorrow with Emily Blunt, Tom Cruise. That's a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen that, that is a truly fantastic movie. And that's what I'm saying. Like action sequences that go with the story. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And you know what, guys? Like, I do recognize, like, for those watching, like, we may be sounding different than other reviewers on this particular movie. I don't know why, but like even some of the people that I trust a lot, that I consume content of, and then they make reviews and things like that, everyone's been like really praising this movie, saying like it's the best one in the franchise. Some of them say like it's just a masterpiece and things like that. I just gotta say, like, I'm sharing my own thoughts and my opinions, and I don't think it's those things. I still think Fallout is probably one of my favorite in the franchise. I haven't seen
Nice.
the first four in a really long time, so maybe I just got to refresh altogether.
Mm.
But this one definitely sits like on the higher scale because of the spectacle and the things that it did deliver. But once again, I'm thinking from a story standpoint, didn't live up to what I wanted to see off of
Yeah.
this huge spectacle
Yeah.
showcase.
And put it on the comments down below, guys.
That's
Whether
fine,
you
yeah.
you enjoyed this movie. Tell us why. We love talking movies here, and don't take this as discouragement whatsoever. We do recommend this movie, regardless of
Yeah.
what we think. We as a matter of fact, we recommend this movie.
Yeah.
And granted, we're still going to give it. I think we're going to give it average, a little bit average, higher than average score here, because I love the sequences of fight scenes. Everything was just spot on. I thought it was very, very good camera work. I like the camera different angles that they were going with the white what do you call it, like the almost like a drone type kind of camera feel, especially with that motorcycle scene. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I know we posted a short, and it's incredible to see a guy that age to be able to do that. That's all I'm saying. But
it's wild.
Yeah, it is. And I 110% agree. This movie's gonna make a lot of money. It's gonna make a lot of money, and if everyone's gonna be talking about this, it's a high stake.
The summer, and Tom Cruise. He absolutely
he puts butts in the seats. That gets guaranteed that he does. And I hope and pray that I look like that when I'm his age. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Ethan Hunt. There you go, man. I'm just like, Ethan, why do you keep trusting the government? What's the matter with you? Like, dude, you'd say I don't know. I think that's the point, and that's the thing too. Same thing with the Fast and Furious. It's almost the same story, but like people still go watch them. People still go watch the movies. They still make a lot of money.
Although the last one, I do gotta say, like, Jason Momoa did really good with the villain.
Yeah. And this one, I think if they would have Jason Momoa's villain in here, it would have added a little bit that sprinkle on top to this film.
That's not to discredit the guy that plays the villains here. Just once again, the part of his mystique is that you don't know anything about him, and I think that was a mistake to an extent. But we'll see. He's probably still. Well, I don't want to say.
I mean, even listed on the IMDb, we get Eugene Kittredge in here from the very first movie, and that I thought was putting a nod to like, okay, this is the last movie of the franchise, or like the last two movies of the franchise, and I kind of felt like that was a really good nostalgia way to put it back in there. So I thought that was really good. I love that. And put in comments down below, guys, whether you love this movie. Let us know in the comments down below, or you were just like, wasn't that good, Ryan? Maybe you guys are right. Put in comments down below, because we love talking movies here at the Alamo City Movie Talk Studios. And thank you so much for making this a part of your day. But Lex, was this a film that we deserved? I'm gonna say yes. Even though we're kind of like on the fence here, even though we're kind of like not giving it a 10 out of 10, or I don't even know. Lex, I could be wrong. You might give it a 9 out of 10, but rating 1 out of 10, 10 being the highest. When you give this rating, Lex?
Yeah, to answer the question about like, is it what we deserve? I would have liked to see a little bit more of the story kind of drive and anchor the movie and piece it together. But overall, like, as a summer movie, as someone that likes the action sequences and the stunts are incredible and commendable, I do believe this is a movie we deserved. But in terms of rating, I may feel different after a second watch, but I think I'm gonna give this like a 7.5. I think that's my good rating at this moment.
Nice.
Definitely not bad. I want to see it again, but I do have to be prepared for the movie length, because once again, 247. We've seen other movies at 247.
Yeah,
I felt it on the low times.
Maybe it was the uncomfortable.
It could have been. Yeah, maybe if I
watch. All I know is that I'm gonna go see this in Regal RPX, because I am Regal Unlimited member, and I'm gonna go see it on Regal RPX. And I'm going to be very comfortable, very prepared. I'm going to be like, you know what? Maybe it was just a theater experience. Because question is for you guys. Have you ever disliked a movie one time, the fact that the theater sucked? Because I'm pretty sure there's out there. We're not the only ones. I'm pretty sure there's people out there who are like, wait, after watching it a second time, or maybe even watching it at home, you were like, oh, man, it's a way better movie than I thought.
Yeah.
When I watching it the first time, there's a possibility there. There really is, because I mean, River Center Mall, the AMC theater seats are not, IMAX seats are not comfortable, and they're the only ones that are not recliners in the River Center Mall in San Antonio, which sucks. When's enough? I'm already going in negative with the Fast and Furious movies, so I was kind of already going into that mindset a little bit, because I was just like, okay, enough is enough. They're making 2 parts into this movie. But I'll be honest, I was pleasantly surprised. I really was. I'm going to give this a solid 8 out of 10, guys. 8 out of 10 review because of the fact that they put so much heart into the stunts, because I recognize that. They put heart into the action. And granted, maybe the story's in the next movie. Maybe we're totally wrong, Lex. Maybe the story's so much more in the next movie and we're going to get a little less action. I don't think so, but maybe we're going to get a little less action in the last one, in the last one of the movie, of the franchise. And maybe that we're going to actually find out more details into what the AI is, into what the next official villain is per se in this. But yeah, I would say the villain felt flat for me, but excuse me. But that's not to say that I didn't enjoy the movie as a whole. So yeah, I'm leave it at that. So 8 out of 10.
Awesome. Well, no, I mean, we're really excited to hear you guys' thoughts. Let us know, comment, like, share, subscribe, and anything else to add there, Ryan?
Yeah, no, that was it, guys. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. If you have not already, be sure to like and subscribe to us once again, guys. Love talking movies with you, every single one of you guys out there. And stay tuned because we got a lot more movie reviews. We got a lot more stuff coming out to you guys. We got another interview from Lex coming out that the audio kind of is a little bit mishap, but don't worry, guys. We still saved the interview. We got Lex's interview coming out to you guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, as always, I'm your host, Ryan D. aka Ryan680.
This was Lex. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Catch you later, guys. Stay safe, San Antonio. Peace.